Hey guys, Scott here with possibly the most obvious video that I've ever made. The new Resident Evil map, the Raccoon City Police Station, is by far the worst map in the game, at least at this current state. Maybe back in the day when there were, infinites and stuff like that, very long time ago, there might have been some contenders, but as it stands right now, this is by far the worst map in the game. And the worst part is, we saw this on the PTB within literally 2 playthroughs. Everyone knew this map was going to be terrible. And it's sort of a problem with behavior that they value the aesthetic and the idea of the map more than the actual gameplay of the map itself. And this is very commonly seen by the fact that, they keep adding very cool thematic maps like Hawkins and stuff like that that are typically very unpleasant to actually play on. So the reason this map is so bad is it literally combines all of the worst aspects of every map that there is and throws them all into one map. It has legitimate infinite windows. The library upstairs has a ridiculously safe 3 vault window no matter what. The size of the map, I could not believe it. I had to actually test it. The actual size of this map, it takes the same amount of time to get to the other side of the map as Red Forest. Now, Red Forest, in terms of square footage, is the biggest map in the game. And, the Raccoon City Police Station is a little bit smaller in terms of actual straight up area. But the thing is, you can't go in a straight line. You have to kind of go left, then right, then go around things. So to get to the other side of the map, it takes pretty much exactly as long as it takes to get to the other side of Red Forest, which is a problem because everyone knows that Red Forest is way too big. And the worst part about that is that's just one floor. There are 2 floors on this map. So imagine 2 Red Forests stacked on top of each other. And I don't understand why they added a map that is so big when they know that big maps are a problem. Like, they have made maps smaller before, like Pale Rose, perfect example. That map was way too big, and they made it smaller, and everybody agreed it was a good decision. So they know that maps that are too big are a problem, and yet they added this map for authenticity's sake that is arguably even bigger than Red Forest. So the first failure is it's way too big. In terms of actual traversal time, it's bigger than the biggest map in the game currently, which is a huge problem. Killers it's impossible to defend things. You can't pressure gens, as they say, in this map at all, unless you're a killer with teleportation or something like that, or insane mobility. Even Blight can't get around. That brings me to point number 2. So it has the size failures of Red Forest, and it has the claustrophobia failures of, like, Larry's and Hawkins, where most killers can't even use their powers on this map because there's a wall, then 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 a wall. Like, there's just walls everywhere, so you can't really play Blight, you can't play Hunters, you can't play Billy, even Leatherface. There's no, like, fun killer other than the stealth killers. Stealth killers, again, can benefit from these types of indoor maps, but that's basically it. Whenever you have an indoor map, mostly it's just the stealth killers that benefit, and every other killer in the game can't really do much. So it has the claustrophobia of Larry's and Hawkins, which I think is a bad thing. And then, like, I just don't understand why they value the authenticity of the actual map more than how it's going to play, because the authenticity of the map, it wears off after you see it a single time. Then you just have to actually play on the map, and that suddenly becomes, like, by far the most important part. The palettes on this map range from complete god palette to complete useless, like Upstairs Hawkins, and then it does have genuine infinite windows on it as well. I just don't understand how they thought this was a good idea and why they didn't do what they did, like with Badham Preschool, where there's multiple versions of the map. Like, you could just straight up make the bottom floor an entire map and make the top floor another entire map, and they would still be pretty big, and it would be a lot better. That's probably the simplest fix they can do to this map, is just split it in half to be 2 separate maps. You spawn on the top floor or the bottom floor. I don't know how it would work. They might have to make some modifications, but this map is entirely too big, and it still retains all the worst parts of indoor maps, like not being able to see anything in the distance, not being able to see scratches or crows or any indication of where anybody is. You basically just have to randomly meander across this maze labyrinth and hope that you can get to whatever you're trying to get to in time. It also echoes the same problem that Midwich has, where you can have a generator right above you, you can hear people working on it, and yet you can't physically get to it for another 30 seconds because you have to go through, like, fucking Maze of Theseus to, like, get around all of this shit. And that is incredibly frustrating too. It's essentially the Haddonfield fence problem where something of interest is right next to you, but there's a 10-mile long fence around it. So you have to run around the entire thing and get, corralled like a sheep. And that is one of the big problems of this map too. So it's got the Haddonfield basically fence problem where you can't get to a gen that's 2 feet away from you. It's got the size problems of Red Forest and the claustrophobia problems of Larry's and Hawkins. The map is a complete failure. Everyone saw this within 10 minutes of playing on it in the PTB. I figured there's no hope that they ever change it because they never do from the PTB because it's licensed content and they probably can't really do that. So we're basically stuck with this. I'm saying right now, I'm probably just going to eat the 5-minute ban when I get this map. I really hate playing on this map so much. If I was playing like Wraith or Myers or Pig or something, I'd probably play it out, but I typically don't play those killers. I play killers that, require line of sight to do things. So this map is miserable. If you like it, that's great. I'm not going to say disconnect on it. I'm just saying personally, fuck this map. I don't want to ever play on it. I'd rather eat a 5-minute ban and talk to chat than have to deal with this shit. It's an awful, awful map. And I really hope they do the bare minimum, which is like split it in half or just leave it bugged and not really appearing very often. That'd be pretty good too. But that's it. Again, very obvious video. I don't know if anyone that actually likes playing on this map. Aesthetically, it's amazing. They always knock it out of the park aesthetically, but that's kind of the only thing they focus on, it seems like. So, yeah, pretty obvious video. Not really going for any controversial takes here. I just have to rant about it because, oh my god, this map fucking sucks.